It's been a minute, but we are finally back with the ranking everything in COD history and the AK family of rifles. It's a staple of Call of Duty as a franchise. It's been ever since Call of Duty 4 gave us our first batch of them. But today, we're going to do a video we've never actually done before. I know this is wild. You would have thought we've done this before, but we haven't. Welcome to the channel, everybody. Jimmy or Chaos. Today, we are ranking every single AK in COD history. Now, if it has AK in the name, it is eligible for this list. So that means the AK-47, the AK-74, the AK-12. We're going to rank all of them worst to best. So you let me know which of these AKs is your all-time favorite. Drop a like on the video. Make sure you're subscribed. Thank you for all the comments you guys give me every single day. It really is a cool part of my day to go through the comments, and a lot of you I'm familiar with. I mean, I feel like a lot of you are longtime friends. I see you on the videos all the time. I truly, truly appreciate it. At number 15, dead last, the worst in COD history. I think it's easy. The AK-74U in Black Ops 3. The BO3 version of this was bad for some reason, I don't know why, and that was all more strange because it was a supply drop gun, which were usually some of the best guns in the game. Not the Black Ops 3 AK-74U. It wasn't only difficult to control, but it was also underwhelming with its damage per shot. Made it feel super weak when paired with a relatively low rate of fire. This one was supposed to be a ripper up close, with potential for mid-range domination, but Black Ops 3's version was a pea shooter in every scenario. It was really a disappointing gun remake. Definitely deserves to be at the bottom of the barrel. At number 14, the AK-47 in Advanced Warfare. Now, it returned in AW as DLC, and it was okay. I know it's the second lowest ranking on the list, but that's not to say it was totally terrible. In fact, some people actually love this version of the AK-47, but when you look at the stats and you compare it to everything else on the list, I just couldn't justify putting it higher. The Advanced Warfare AK fired at 615 rounds per minute, dealt a maximum of 44 base damage. Granted, the base damage was also a minimum of 25, so you would never need more than 4 shots to kill somebody, but ultimately, these base stats weren't that impressive for a Call of Duty AK-47. It was fun to use. You could definitely use your exosuit to make up for the lack of solid stats, but I always thought the Advanced Warfare AK was a little underwhelming. Maybe I was missing something. Maybe I got yelled at by the Advanced Warfare AK Defense Force down in the comments. I don't know, but I'm putting it at number 14 out of 15. And speaking of AK-47s made by Sledgehammer, at number 13, the AK-47 in Modern Warfare 3 2011. Of all the Modern Warfare AKs, this is probably the weakest one, but it's still good. The 2011 AK fired at under 700 rounds per minute, could hit for up to almost 50 base damage, which was more than enough to get a 2-shot kill if you landed a headshot. Recoil? Yes, bouncy on this version of the gun, and the range drop-off was actually pretty steep, but even at max range, you only needed 4 bullets to kill somebody. In most situations, you were killing with 3 bullets, and with the fire rate being almost 700 rounds per minute, that's pretty competitive in the context of Modern Warfare 3. Probably wasn't good enough to constitute needing to grind all the way to level 68 to unlock it, but it was viable. It was competitive. It's not the ACR 6.8, but I wouldn't call it the worst AK in COD history. It had a slight edge over the AW version. At number 12, the AK-12 in COD Ghost. It's not that the AK-12 was bad in Ghost. It was just vastly outclassed by other rifles that have AK on them. The Ghost AK was a 3 to 4 shot kill, fired at 700 rounds per minute, pretty solid accuracy, low recoil, easy gun to use, always felt consistent, but it was going up against guns like the Remington R5, the Honey Badger, the MTAR X, all of which would outgun it 9 times out of 10 in basically every situation. So again, it's not that the 12 was bad in Ghost, but with how stiff the competition was, I just can't justify putting it any higher because we're going to be going over a lot of AKs in the video, and they're basically all high-tier weapons. From this point on, every gun we talk about is A tier or better. At number 11, the AK-47 in Modern Warfare 2 2009. More or less just copy-pasted from COD 4, but I'm going to rank it lower on the list than its older brother because of the changes in the gameplay. I mean, the 2009 AK-47 was good, but it was also going up against some of the most ridiculous guns in Call of Duty history, so it has to lose a few points in the ranking. That being said, it was nuts. Fire at 700 rounds per minute, killed in 3 to 4 shots without stopping power. The range on the Modern Warfare 2 AK was pretty insane. It kept its maximum base damage at 37 meters, meaning it was virtually always a 3-shot kill because it was kind of rare for you to be engaging people longer than 37 meters in the game. Recoil, a little increase from COD 4, so hitting all your shots was a little harder than it was in the previous Modern Warfare game, but at the end of the day, it was strong. A lot of people adored it. Wasn't quite as good as the ACR or the SCAR, but I mean, come on. It's Modern Warfare 2. Everything was busted, including the AK-47. Now we arrive at the top 10. The AK-12 in Advanced Warfare. Yeah, The AK-12 had a pretty solid fan club, myself included in AW. I was part of it. Compared to other guns in AW, the AK-12 had relatively low damage per shot. But what made it so popular and so strong was the accuracy and the fire rate. It fired at 750 rounds per minute, which is one of the fastest on this list. It had no recoil, and in terms of damage, it would hit for between 33 and 24 base damage, made it a 3 to 4 shot kill if you were only hitting body shots. But if you were aiming high and you hit your target in the head at least once, it was pretty easy to do. You could bring that down to 2 to 3 shots. Very competitive. Also had some pretty wild variants, but even if you were just using the default version, it was pretty insane. I think it belongs on the top 10. At number 9. The AK-47 in Black Ops. I've said many times this is one of my favorite guns in Call of Duty history, and I stand by that. 750 rounds per minute, one of the fastest ever for an AK in the franchise, and it would hit for between 30 and 40 damage. Now, in terms of time to kill, this AK was exactly the same as the Galil and exactly the same as the Commando. But what made me love it over the others, which I didn't because I love the Galil better, was the recoil pattern. Super skinny weapon model. I mean, the recoil was 100% vertical. It made it easy to control, and the skinny frame gave you an excellent peripheral vision when aiming down the sights. Plus, the headshot multiplier was 40%. Made it a 2-shot kill to the head up to 37 meters, which is kind of insane if you were aiming high. Just aim at the belly button, and it works its way up with the vertical recoil. Not going to outgun the FAMAS. Some people preferred the Commando or the Galil. I get it, with the different recoil patterns, but I did love the Black Ops 1 AK-47. I put a lot of time into this gun. At number 8. The AK-74U in Black Ops Cold War. Unlocked at level 19, this version of the AK-74U takes a little getting used to, a bit of attachment grinding, but once you get a solid build, whew, it's a high-tier weapon, possibly even top-tier in Black Ops Cold War multiplayer. Fires at under 700 rounds per minute, hits for up to almost 40 base damage with a 40% headshot bonus multiplier and pretty manageable recoil. Put the extended barrel on it, boost the range, put a grip on it, get that recoil steady. It could easily be treated as a rifle SMG hybrid. Could also maintain an extremely competitive time to kill in both roles, and that was the appeal. This is a weapon that tons of Call of Duty players love because it's competitive up close in SMG territory and at range in assault rifle territory. And the Black Ops Cold War version of the weapon is the perfect representation of both of those. And yet, it's at number 8. I mean, this is a list of Call of Duty AKs. You know what that means. We're about to get into some absolutely nutty ones. At number 7, yes, we are showing COD Mobile love. The AK-47 and COD Mobile. I didn't forget about you guys. The AK-47 is a very high damage rifle in mobile and can score a 3-shot kill at any range less than 20 meters, which is a very valuable weapon to have in your hands on every map. Fires at 545 rounds per minute, which is slow, I know, it is, but there's some cheesy attachments. You have the 5.45 caliber mags, crank up the rate of the fire, the headshot multiplier. I mean, you could even make it more powerful in the hands of a player who knows how to aim high, which isn't easy to do on a phone screen. It's a powerful weapon in COD Mobile. Great representation of the weapon as a whole. At number 6. The AK-47 in Modern Warfare 2019. I love this one. Not only did it have some of the juiciest animations and sound effects of any gun on the list, it hit like a freaking truck. If you were hitting your target above the waist, it was game over. Fired at under 600 rounds per minute, which I think is the slowest on this entire list, but it made up for that fire rate with some insane base damage values and huge multipliers. The base damage was between 32 and 35 per shot. There was this giant 60% bonus for headshots and a 10% bonus for hitting above the waist. This meant if you were aiming center mass, your base damage was actually somewhere around 38 per shot. If you were hitting your target in the head, you were dealing a ridiculous 56 damage per shot. On top of that, you could equip it with 75 rounds, a 75 drum mag. Come on. Or you could swap the ammo out for a lower caliber that would crank up the fire rate while turning down the base damage. You could basically convert it into an AK-74U. This thing struggled at close range, but from mid and longer, it was a beast. Now we arrive at the top 5. The AK-74 in Black Ops 6. This thing is on its way to getting nerfed into the ground, but at the time I'm making this video, no nerfs have come through, so here it is at number 4. It's rapidly becoming one of the most popular guns in the game. Despite having decent base stats, it shines with a couple of attachments. Unlock it at level 10, and this assault rifle features a slightly higher fire rate, slightly lower base damage than the average 47, but it makes up for that with accuracy and a huge headshot multiplier that gives it one of the fastest time to kills in the game. And interestingly, in the in-game description of the AK-74, it says a high recoil weapon, but I don't think anybody actually agrees with that because you can turn this thing into a laser beam with 1 or 2 attachments. Again, I'm almost certain Treyarch is going to nerf this with the start of Season 1, if not sooner. But as of this moment, it's a top 5 AK in COD history. The time to kill is nuts, the handling is super easy to get hang of, and the versatility is some of the best in Black Ops 6. Get your hours in now because they may be limited. At number 4. The AK-47 in COD 4, the default unlock in COD 4, unanimously considered to be a top 5 gun in multiplayer. It fired at 700 rounds per minute, pretty fast for a Call of Duty AK, would hit for between 30 and 40 base damage, made it a 3 to 4 shot kill with no SP, no headshots. Those stats are intimidating on their own, especially when you factor in the relatively low recoil of this version of the AK. Sure, there was a lot of U-kick on this, but in terms of actual recoil, the gun didn't actually move that much. So it wasn't really hard to stay on target, but once you put stopping power on your class, all bets were off. 2-shot kill, close to mid-range, 3-shot kill across the map. That's with no headshots. All you had to do was put 2 bullets into somebody's foot, and they would drop. Literally the only downside of the COD 4 AK-47 was the weight. It's one of the slowest moving AKs on the list. There wasn't any lightweight, there was no dexterity in COD 4, so you were stuck with those movement speeds. At number 3, the AK-47 in Black Ops Cold War. This rifle was so powerful it had to be banned from competitive events at one point, even after a year's worth of patches and updates. It still remains one of the best guns in the game. It was unlocked very early. Level 7 in the progression, would fire at 600 rounds per minute, made it one of the faster AK-47s on this list, and it also had some of the lowest recoil of any on this list while it hit for 30 to 38 base damage. And yes, you had that 40% headshot bonus. It's not only super easy to control in this game, it's also a ridiculous time to kill that made it more than capable of outshooting SMGs up close. Definitely top tier. At number 2, the AK-74U in Black Ops, the original. I don't know if there's ever been an SMG that dominated its multiplayer as hard as the AK-74U dominated Black Ops. Yes, there have been some crazy ones. I think back to the MP40 in World at War, but this thing was wild. I'm serious. The Black Ops 1 AK-74U fired at 750 rounds per minute, or 1,000 rounds per minute if you use rapid fire. Would hit for between 35 and 20 base damage, 3 to 5 shot kill. Not only was that time to kill very competitive in the original Black Ops, but it had an extremely long 3-shot kill range, pretty generous 4-shot kill range, so you rarely needed that 5th bullet to clean people up. On top of that, on top of all that, super quick handling speeds, crystal clear iron sights, and very manageable recoil that was 100% vertical, just like the Black Ops 1 AK-47, and a bunch of really helpful attachments to make it better. Extended mags, bring the magazine size to 30 all the way up to 45. No movement or reload speed penalties. It was also the only SMG in the original Black Ops to be equipped with dual mags. You could also put an underbarrel grenade launcher on it for some reason, despite being a full-size SMG. Literally had no movement speed penalties, meaning as far as the game was concerned, it was the same weight as the M1 or the M1911. I love the Black Ops 1 AK-47, but the AK-74, another level. And at number 1 today, to me, the best AK version in COD history has to be the AK-74U in COD 4. Might be a hot take, might be a controversial pick, but I'm sticking with it because if you were playing COD 4 or Modern Warfare Remastered, you should be very aware of how dominant this thing was in the game, how powerful it could be in literally any scenario. Despite being a submachine gun, it had one of the best TTKs at close, mid, and long range in the game. That all came down to the insane base damage. Infinity Ward decided to give this SMG a base damage value of 40 up close and 20 at max. 3 to 5 shot kill with no SP. On top of that, the fire rate was very respectable, 800 rounds per minute, 40% bonus headshot multiplier, and despite being an SMG with SMG handling speeds, it literally had the stats of a high-tier assault rifle. That was before you put on stopping power. If you threw on SP, it was a 2-shot kill up close, 4-shot kill across the map, assuming you didn't land any headshots. Again, this was an SMG. It was way too good, and for its versatility, ridiculous time to kill in literally any scenario, it gets the number 1 spot today. You may have expected me to go with a more recent AK as the top dog title here, but if you experienced this, you're shaking your head yes right now. Let me know where you guys agree. Let me know where you disagree. Let me know what we're ranking next, and I'll see you soon.